Hey guys, welcome back to episode 3 of our Klondike Triple Canyon 2.0. We have a little bit of an update that we have to do today, in addition to another how-to, I guess you might want to call it. So when we left off, we had this completely done as far as the plaster, or well, not plaster, it was the spackling we put on there. We did a hard shell. We did the strips underneath it to build out for our hard shell. Um, Everything you needed to know to get started on doing one of these hard shells, okay, for your base. And like I said, then we covered over it with our spackling, which I said you could also use plaster if you're so inclined. Um, just to me, that was the easiest medium to use. You could also use Sculptamold. That's an interesting type of thing. I've used it before. It's pretty neat. A little bit easier to work with than doing with the plaster, but it's a matter of opinion. So on this side, and I'll just bring the camera over so you can see it a little bit better. We went and did the same technique over here, using the strips to form and come up and form down here for doing our hillside. And then I started going over it, you could see here, with just a base color after I put on the spackling here. So, and there's also, if you'll notice back here, and I'll show you better on the other side, we have some foam in here. I can't touch this. This is just painted this morning, so uh, you'll forgive me. And it's not, obviously you can see it's not perfectly covered, but doesn't need to be, because we're going to put ground cover over this eventually, and some trees and stuff like that. So this was just to give it a basic color underneath all the ground cover that's going on top of it. So what we did over here, and I'm going to set this camera down here, and you forgive me, this is a little unforgiving, this tripod. So let me get some light better on this section. Okay, so you can see here on this side, what we did is, this is a combination of, say, 85% foam. Now, what I used was this product called Good Stuff. It's a spray can of foam that you use, and it expands, and it's used for filling in, like if you got a hole in the wall or something like that. Buy it at any hardware store. I got mine locally. I think it cost like, well, the price on it was like $7, but because I had a rewards membership, I got it for like 6. Forgive me, I'm using coffee there. So that was relatively cheap, and I got this whole hillside completely done. Plus there's, well, you can't, here, let me look at here a little bit. In the front here, on this side and on this side, let's see, there we go. I had to get in the picture there. And then a little bit here and along this ridge on the back, I filled in with the same product. So it goes a long way, and you could see how much it expanded. I mean, and actually it was out further than it was. So all you have to do is like, I grabbed one of these disposable knives, and this is actually supposed to be a lot longer. I've nipped off a few because it was getting a little dull. But you can use a knife, any kind of knife, or like a little hacksaw or something like that, just a blade, just to cut it, and it cuts real easy. I mean, it's makes it very nice, and there's very little left to clean up as far as debris goes. Unlike other phone products that I've worked with, like the packing stuff, it's like, oh, that's horrible. But anyway, um, the other product that I did, because there was a lot of gaps, like you could see the holes here in there, like they're going to get filled in or covered over eventually with some kind of ground cover. But what I did was I went and took modeling clay, okay, and I went over it here, a few select places, and just spread white glue down, stretched it out, and pushed it in place, and it stayed, and that was all there is to it. Um, so that's, and then I said I kind of went with the spackling, came over and went over the top a little bit here and there, and went around where the two products meet, and kind of smoothed out the seam there a little bit with it. So that's basically what I've done on that. Now you notice we have our helipad. That came in the mail a few weeks ago, I guess it is now, about the time I'm recording this. And it wasn't really bad to put in. This particular one, the gentleman, I can flip it over and you can see exactly what I did, and I'm going to do that in just a moment. Let me just move some stuff out of the way. I wasn't thinking when I got all this stuff set up, so you forgive me for a second if I have to move stuff. Okay, so basically what it is so thick, well, in the middle part, it's like, give or take that much thick. So I had to take this ring, this white ring, and trace around, because it was removable at the time, so was the H for some reason. Get some junk off of there. And I traced around the outer edge, and that was where I was going to put this. So then I went and cut out with my Dremel the ring, got the basic shape, and then just kind of smoothed it out, and this dropped right in the first time. Very, very easy to do. And I had to glue in, wound up using hot glue for the LED lights, because these do work. I did check them before I installed this, so everything worked. And this will draw off of trak power. As we've mentioned in previous videos, it's going to be on the outside rail. I didn't show you that. I did drill holes. Let's see if we can find where. Here we go. So there's on the one side, and then we come over here, and there's on the other. So we are going to draw power from the outer rails. And let me flip this on its side and make sure I don't bang anything up here. And get some light on this side, and so you guys can see. So here's how it's going to work. Okay, so here's where I was talking about the helipad. Here's your LEDs. You have, these are pre-wired, and I made sure when I before I installed all these, I hooked it up. This is a power distribution hub. That's from the gentleman I've talked about in previous videos from We Honest, and I think it was like $15-ish, plus a little bit, a couple bucks for shipping, so it really wasn't drastic. And what's nice about this distribution hub, okay, I have plenty more expansions all over the place here if I want to. If I had, if I had a need for more lights or other things that require up to like 3 to 5 volts, and it is adjustable too, which I didn't know before. You can adjust the voltage up or down on it if you need to. And then it has unique ways of drawing power. This particular one is going to be for using for trak power. There's another here, and this can actually tie into another one if I needed to. So you're really only drawing power from one source one time. And this also will take a 5-volt input, like from an AC adapter. So that's what this little thing is for. But like I said, I'm gonna run it through. I ran it through here, and I'm going to tie it in on the left side. Well, as we're looking at it, what would be the left side of the module? So we're going to flip this back over. So that's what we've got done up to this point so far. So we're going to move that back, and we're going to move this over here again. So today I would like to, like I've done this basic part here and on the top here, but now I want to show you how I'm going to do the waterfall part itself. And what I'm going to do is get the basic colors of the rocks today. So what I would do is take, okay, we've got, grab it, there we go. Okay, just a regular old dark gray. You know, this is just, you know, it doesn't, brands don't matter, trust me, when it comes to these water-based paints. Just put out a nice little glob here, and now gray rocks would be nice, but let's add a little bit of variety to it. So I'm going to start with some basic black, and this is a gloss, so but it'll get toned down. Okay, so we just put a little bit in there. Set this over here out of the way so it doesn't get messed up. Okay, so just got a regular old paintbrush here, and I think we gotta adjust this up a little bit. There we go. And we're gonna take this, stir it in a little bit, and we're gonna start at the top. Okay, so you see how that darkened that up a lot, but we can, and that's another thing too, is you gotta watch about the stuff coming off your brush. So be extra careful with this stuff. Now I'm going to come back later and I'm going to touch up along this top edge because that requires a little more finesse with a different brush, and I just want to do a general demonstration right now. But I will definitely be making sure all this white and whatever's up there is gone. So take out a little bit of the extra. You see, this goes really quick for the most part, and so we're going to blend all this together. And as you can see, it doesn't take long for something like this to start taking shape. And you can vary colors within this. Like I'm probably going to come through here, and I've got another one. It says black. Okay, so at least that's what they implied. But honestly, this is more of like a blue black, if that makes any sense. So we're gonna just put a couple of drops there, not a lot, and take some of this. You see how it changes up the color, you know, and it makes it a little bit interesting. So we're gonna come down here on the bottom, and we're just gonna work it all together. And like I say, it doesn't matter if we want it to blend. Okay, that's the key. you want these colors to blend in a little bit. Let me see if I have another. Yep, here we go. Now I'm just using a plain old piece of cardboard here as my palette. You don't need anything fancy when it comes to these, trust me. So I got a little bit of a Tuscan red. Okay. And now this is a very potent one. So I'm going to do a little mixture here. We're going to come in on this side just to vary up the rock a little bit. And if you didn't guess, I'm making this up as I go, because we want an interesting module here. Okay, so you just gotta vary things up a little bit, and then what I can do after I get some of this basic stuff painted on here is I'm going to come through with a cup, and what I did on the top too with the with that base color is just put some water, like dip it in I have a spare cup that I use. I use it mostly for just washing out my brush a little bit in between colors if I'm doing something, and then using paper towels to wipe it off. But now what I want to do is I'm going to come in, like I said, I got this cup, and just put some water on it. And it'll make a wash, and all of a sudden, guess what? We're blending. And you can see how that's working out here. All these little white holes where we couldn't get paint in originally are now starting to fill in a little bit. I know that's, you can't really see a whole lot on this side, but I'm trying my best here. Okay, so we're going to do this. We get along the bottom edge, and now we're really starting to look like something here. Okay, so this is where we're at. Okay, so that doesn't look too shabby. I'm going to show you from this side so you can see. So there's where we are. Okay, so we can come down in through here, and there's very little paint on here. Okay, I can come back now and actually get some and work it into here. Now the water technique will work perfectly in this section, which is what I'm about to do. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to dip it in my water here, and we're going to just come down through here and fill in these gaps a little bit. And so there we are. And now we can streak this a little bit, and I could actually go and take, where's that brown? How about a little bit of brown? Okay, I'm going to use a different palette, so you can forgive me for a second. I'm going to get a little bit of brown on my palette here, as you can see, and it's just straight brown. Now I'm going to thin this coloring out here, because it's a little too red for my taste. Okay, so now I'm going to go with my water, and we're going to blend everybody together a little bit. Okay, so there we go. So that's what we got to do there. And like I said, I'm going to come back and come along this ridge here because I want that to be covered. That's basically the showpiece. So we're going to take care of that. But that's basically it. I mean, now you see we've got that the beginnings of the waterfall feature done. So in the next video, we'll do how we do the water feature itself. I'm going to go off camera here, and down here I'm going to paint this hillside. Okay, I want to think this hillside I'm going to continue the green coming down to the water line, because the waterfall itself is going to empty into this section. And then I took a little bit of artistic license, and I'm going to continue it out this way, because when I look at the video, okay, and I've studied it several times, it gives the appearance that it kind of goes out this way somewhere. So that's how I'm going to go with it. So I'm going to get down here, and I'm going to, on this side, I think I'm going to continue the rock face because it's more sheer, but this is going to have more green on it than anything. So I'm going to continue the green down to the waterline here, continue the rock face type of thing down this side, and then I'll go, and this will be like a bluish color before I put anything down over top of it. And then I'll continue that out along, to the edge here. So that's where we are as far as that goes. And then once we get all this painted, in the next video we're going to come back and we're going to do how the actual waterfall will be. Okay, I have the materials, and I just need to get this part done. So that's what we're going to do. When next time you come back, this part will be done, and we will go and this also, the water feature itself. And in case you didn't notice, just quick show you before we wrap this up. I did put a road in here. This is the access road to the helipad. This is just a piece of cardboard that I cut and fit in here. The border is using clay, the modeling clay, so that it has a bank from here. There's going to be, once we're done with all this, okay, and got that all done, and the river itself, the last thing we'll be doing is installing the bridge and finishing the modeling from the under the bridge part and doing the outside edges and getting those wrapped up. And then that's it. We'll be done as far as this goes. So we're going to do that in the next video. Doing the waterfall. In another video, I'm going to show you how I do my wiring, as far as drawing the track power, and we're going to draw it in two places, even though we only need one. We're going to draw it in two places, and but we're going to be using this side primarily, and then we're going to tie it up and wrap up this this triple module. And like I said, so far I think it's turning out fantastic. I was a little skeptical with the foam for because of how much it expanded, which it was, I just didn't realize it was going to do. But I was able to work with it. And my advice to you, if you do go with the spray foam, try to do it in steps. Read the directions thoroughly. I mean, I've read them, but I always use mine in one shot. So I used the whole can in one sitting. So, but I knew how much I really needed to do. But that's what you got to do then. Is if you're going to use the spray foam, it's easy to work with. It's easy to well, it's easy to make a mistake too, but it will peel off eventually, or you can get it down enough where in cutting it is not a major task. Like I said, if you have even if it's a regular, I want to say steak knife. What's the other one? Like one of those really long knives that you use for like meat service or something like that. As long as it's not like a super serrated edge, uh, or more like a knife, like I said, like one of those uh, disposable ones that you got flip out like I was showing you. Those work fantastic. Okay, and just work it a little bit at a time. That is my best advice. When you're cutting stuff, you can always cut more, but it's harder to put it back. Even though you could just glue it, but it doesn't ever look right. So just cut a little bit at a time until it looks where you want it, and then go from there. So with that, I am going to let you guys go. It's been a great time. I hope you are excited as I am about how this is coming along. Remember to like, share, subscribe. And if you have any comments about the progress so far or suggestions, I'm all ears. I will acknowledge people in my videos if nothing else by what your comment was. I try to go by name. So if you're out there and you got some ideas or suggestions or comments, please feel free to leave them in there. And we will catch you in the next one. So see ya.